Mr. Freiberg, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm all right. So good conversation to have today around the New York City real estate market, residential real estate market. Glad to have you on. Why don't you just take a minute, introduce yourself, tell us what you do, and we'll go from there.
My name's Ed Freiberg. I work for Compass as a residential real estate salesperson. Been in the business about 17 years. I had the genius idea of starting my career in late 2007, right before the financial meltdown. And the real estate market completely falling apart.
Timing is everything in life.
Exactly. Well, it's one of those moments of truth or a test, that I figured, I'd already committed by October 2008, a little less than a year into the business, and I was like, well, let's see if I can make this work, and if I can get through the next couple of years, I think I might have a career, and so that's happened.
And you're still in
But
it.
yeah, so my focus is, I do sort of like the gamut of real estate. I do from resale, new development. I do condos, co-ops, townhouses in New York. I don't really have a niche because my client base is sort of, it's a pretty varied and diverse group of clients, which I love. I'm born and bred New Yorker, so I do my business really is all of Manhattan. I'd probably say I do more business downtown Manhattan, but I certainly do quite a good deal of Midtown and Upper East and Upper West Side.
Mhm.
I don't do as much Harlem as I've done early in my career, but I just don't do that much. And I do, I moved to Brooklyn. I do a lot of work in Brooklyn. I love Brooklyn. So I'd say, sort of the southern point of Prospect Park and around there, all the way to Greenpoint, and I cover all those sort of areas, which is
Great.
the
And
ideal
who
spot.
are your typical clients?
Yeah, I mean, I try to narrow it down of who my typical clients are. I'd say, for in the sales market, I think my average sale is probably in the $2 million range, but that means I've got a lot of one-ish $1 million sales and a lot 3+ million. But I've done it all. I've done over 10 million. I've done, $500,000 sales. But I think I work with a lot of people who are, young families, a lot of young families, or like myself, not exactly young people, but have young children in their families, so that defines them. Uh, but I work with a lot of families who are making sort of, life different changes. They're committing more to the sales process and the rental process. I mean, I work with leasing and I represent a lot of buyers, owners who have properties to lease, but I work mostly in sales. It's my business is 100% referral. The nice thing of growing up in New York City and being a very social being in New York City is I
You?
have a pretty big, yeah,
You're a social being? A
a little
little
bit.
bit.
Is I have a pretty big base to feed off of, and I've been very fortunate that people have thought of me over the years. So I don't have a vertical. I just have different consumers that are all walks of life. I happen to work with. I have a lot of friends, and I know a lot of doctors. I know a lot of people in the tech space. Um, but that was not by intention. I just that happens to be a lot of my friends, and they know, successful people who have been, fortunate enough to work with, to buy, and to do business with.
Great. And what's going on in the market right now?
Oh, it's fun. Lots of fun. No, it's a challenging market. You know, eh, you know, it's been a wild 3 years. I think most businesses could say it's been a very up and
Yeah.
down 3 years, without being able to really predict what was going to happen. And everything was working. Everything was moving briskly up until a little over a year ago, when interest rates, when the Fed, uh, push up interest rates, would push up mortgage rates, and the mortgage rates now are challenging for people, and challenging for a couple of reasons. They A little over a year ago, they could have gotten about half of what they're getting now, so it's an emotional lock. And then
Hmm.
it also, prices haven't come down commensurate with with the mortgage rates. So people have just been priced out of what they can buy. So it's and then then the sort of the golden handcuffs of if you bought a place and you're locked into a 3% mortgage rate, you can't really sell your place because what are you going to buy now with a 7% mortgage rate? It's really, so all these things have come together to create sort of low inventory, but it's harder to get deals done. And that's Manhattan has really been hurt more than Brooklyn has. Brooklyn is I've been in bidding wars recently. I've seen bidding wars. Things are moving really quickly, and I think price points are lower, and then your monthlies are lower there, and that really helps with the higher mortgage rates. What's interesting in Manhattan, what we've seen is actually the high end of the Manhattan market, the luxury, which is defined by 4 million and up. That's actually done well, and that makes kind of sense because there was pressure on that for some time because the market just slowed, so the prices came down, and the majority of people buying 4 million, 5 million higher than that are not getting mortgages. So these are cash buyers, so they're not really affected. So they're taking advantage of a slowing market in New York City, which you don't get that many slow sort of blips in these markets where it's a little slower. So they're able to take advantage of it, which is very smart.
And where are the pockets of value in the marketplace today?
I mean, I still think there's some really good value, and this is the tough one. I think the best value you get is on places that need work because most people don't want to do work. And I get why. It's challenging. There's still some supply chain issues. There's costs of everything has gotten higher. Going through New York City bureaucracy is difficult, and the saying is you do one gut renovation in your life and that's it. But that's really where we see value because people are able to create the space that they want. They are able to get because most people don't want to buy there, so they're getting a better price. And if they can work their system where it doesn't, where they're able to do it, and they are I think you have to be really disciplined on how much you're spending and what you're going to do, and that is very hard because it's a very exciting process. But if you're very disciplined on what you're doing, you can actually get real value. I mean, instant equity, I think a lot of times.
That's interesting.
I think that's the best place.
Yeah, I think that's interesting commentary on like restraining yourself from going over budget. It's got to be very difficult.
It's really difficult because like you get excited, like this is where I'm going to live. I want that.
Right.
I get it.
Oh, plus it's only $2,000 more. Why not?
Exactly. So it's like 2,000 here, 2,000 there, 2,000 there, and all of a sudden $100,000.
How did I end up 600,000 over budget?
Exactly. But it's tough because look, if you're looking at it, and I say this to people all the time, if you're looking at something, I'm going to live there this is like my forever home. You're going to be there 20 plus years. Go for it.
Right.
Do it because who knows what's going to be in the future. If you're thinking this is my temporary 5-year to 7-year plan, then you really should think this through and be cost conscious. And you should also you should talk to your real estate professional about what people want in their homes, because we understand. Like I have a couple really great clients who always call me and ask me, is this floor plan better or is that floor plan better? And I tell, and some of the floor plans might work for their family, how it works right there. But I tell them, this is going to be a huge challenge for you when you sell later on. So I think it's good to talk to your real estate advisor on that.
You mentioned earlier the rise in interest rates. What advice would you have for folks that are sitting on the sidelines waiting for interest rates to come down?
Yeah, I mean, look, what someone said, you're not married to your interest rate. So, I think, and I have a very imperfect crystal ball that I work with, but I think we're nearing the heights of of where we are. So, if you find the place you like and you can get a decent price, even if the interest rate is high, the mortgage rate is high, I think it's still a smart move because you've locked in the home, but you're not locked on the rate. You have the rate and you can refinance, and you will definitely get an opportunity within the time frame of when you're living there to refinance. So I mean, I think, so I think that's the best advice. It's tough to time it. I mean, look, there is ways to look at it and try and time it a little bit and try to really um you know, because they go up and down a certain amount. The other thing, the other way of getting your interest rate down is working with a good mortgage broker, and banks are now having relationship pricing. So if you can move your retirement fund, or you can move some money to a bank, they're going to knock a little bit off of your mortgage rate, and that helps as well.
Mhm.
So I would say you're not married to it. Relationship pricing.
Great. Any
It's kind
other
of
advice?
like advice.
I was gonna say, any other advice you want to throw into the conversation before we wrap up?
No, I think that's about it.
All right, tell us how, if anybody's watching this, they can get in touch with you.
Sure. You can call or text me 917-592-5971, and email is super easy. My email, I got in early enough at Compass where I got a great email. So you can email at me at Eddie, EDDIE at compass.com.
I always wondered about that. I said, Eddie must have been one of the first people in the door to get that email address.
Yeah, I tried to get Eddie, and Edward, but Eddie was the only one available, so I
It
took it.
works.
It works.
Awesome. Ed, great to have you on the conversation today. Appreciate it very much.
Thanks a lot, Gordon. Good seeing you.
Take
as
care.
always. Bye-bye.